updates on sports stories across the globe. Aaron Akirijola joins us. Good morning, Aaron.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Doctor. Good morning to you, Rufai.
Bless you.
Yeah, the biggest news out of sports today, it's actually a shock as a matter of fact, and that is the fact that one man, Paul Pogba, has been provisionally suspended for testing positive in a game he did not even play, as a matter of fact. Of course, random testing was actually carried out, and they found out that he had higher levels of testosterone in his system, and that meant that it was spiked. And as it stands right about now, he's been suspended. He has only the next 56 hours to actually answer, because they gave him 3 days from yesterday. As a matter of fact, this is what he has been saying. He has not been in the best frame of mind. He said money has changed people. It can break up families. It can create war. Sometimes I was just by myself thinking, I don't want to have money anymore. I don't want to play anymore. All I just want to do is to be a normal person, and so that they will love me for me, not for the fame, not for the money. Sometimes it is tough. Pogba has been going through times, as you remember. Last year, he was fingered in a particular issue concerning himself, his brother, and Kylian Mbappe, that he visited witch doctors regularly. Pogba's defense was that he's been a fix, he's been having a plethora of injuries, and he was just going there to fortify himself and protect himself. Clearly, the 30-year-old has not had the very best of time. He's been up and down from Juve to Manchester United, from Manchester United back to Juventus. It's been up and down, and this is the latest. He will need to dig himself out of this. He says he has a good defense. Let's see what happens in the next 56 hours, unless he will be banned for 4 years. And that will almost signal the end of his career, if you would ask me. Now, away from that quickly, let's talk about the fact that as the Euro qualifiers are actually going on, one particular game stood out yesterday. It was the drubbing of Luxembourg. 9-0 was how we actually ended, with Ronaldo suspended and Bruno Fernandes captaining the side. Let's talk about the fact that one man actually grabbed the headlines, talking about no other than Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes for creating 3 goals and also scoring another. Goncalo Ramos and also João Felix and the rest of the gang actually stood up to be counted. João Felix did so well for himself. Diogo Jota also in the mix. Now, away from what happened in Portugal, down to Nigeria. Of course, the NFF's Congress, the 79th Congress actually ratified the change of name for the league body here in Nigeria. It used to be called the Nigeria Professional Football League, but right now it's being called the Nigeria Premier Football League. I don't know if the nomenclature will actually change the fortunes for the league, but maybe the organizers think otherwise. As it stands right now, we hear that players and fans are very nervy and are uneasy because the start of the new season has been postponed twice. The latest coming in with this letter on the 6th, because the new season was meant to start on the 9th. Initially, it was meant to start in August. It was moved to the 9th, and on the 6th, they dropped that bombshell again that it will be it's been suspended indefinitely. They're trying to get sponsorship issues right at the moment, and let's see how things actually go. Away from that, the Minister of Sport, talking about I beg your pardon, the Minister of Sport has actually spoken about the fact that with the plethora of players we have, and with the caliber of players we have at the moment, we should win the Nations Cup. And he has promised the players, promised the NFF, and promised the entire coaching staff of the Super Eagles that he will do everything humanly possible to ensure that the Nigeria Football Federation get the needed funding. John Eno has actually spoken and said that he will do everything they can so that they start on time, go to Ivory Coast in January, and win the Nations Cup. We have to wait and see as the days and the weeks comes closer. Before I actually wrap it up today, let's talk about Anthony Joshua. This particular bout has been in the offing for years, and a lot of people have criticized Eddie Hearn and Matchroom for delaying this particular fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. It's almost set in stone. Everything has been signed. Monies have been agreed. Terms have been agreed. Rematch clauses have been agreed. But at the moment, the Saudi backers have pulled out, and right now they are left in a limbo because they do not know where to host this particular bout. But it will happen one way or the other. Where it will happen is left to be seen, because at the moment WBC is putting so much pressure on Tyson Fury that Tyson Fury will have to fight the winner between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. So it's either that happens or he would have to vacate that particular belt. So that puts more pressure on this particular fight and Eddie Hearn, the promoter, to make this particular fight work. Anthony Joshua has always stated his intention to fight Deontay Wilder. For some particular reason, Eddie Hearn thinks otherwise, and he's been dragging this particular fight. But finally, we have the fight, but no venue as we speak. And finally, we are beginning to see the rise, probably taking inspiration from the MMA. Dambe, the Dambe sport is beginning to actually rise, and they're beginning to organize it in the MMA kind of fashion. They've been holding events. They will still have one on the 17th. They are hoping to capture the thunder and make this traditional sport go global, like the MMA and other fights that we've, other fighting and combat sports that we've actually seen. Kudos to them, I must say.
I mean, Dambe has always been a very traditional sport that has been on for many years, especially in the northern part of the country and all of that. So if they're trying to put a structure around it, that's all well and good. But for me, it's always the safety concerns about Dambe. You know, that is always a fear for me as regards if you can put more safety, mechanism in place.
No combat sport is safe, if you had asked me, because if you look at MMA, it's always a bloody affair.
You can't compare the retinue of safety officials and medical personnel you have in an MMA fight to Dambe. Pure and simple. Moving on, as regards Pogba, it's been a real roller coaster, and I really feel for Pogba. It's been a real roller coaster from any scandal that befell him to also the death of Mino Raiola. That's another one. His top-time agent, that really helped him with that great move he made, to Manchester United from Juventus again and all of that. I just hope he's able to dig deep and come out of where he is today, because there are many people that have dug deep and they've come out of, very low times. One that comes to mind, recently I was watching a documentary on Johan Cruyff and how Johan Cruyff had retired at a point, but he went back, and even after having a very sad downtime in Ajax, he left Ajax, went to Feyenoord and won the league with Feyenoord.
Yeah.
So he just needs to dig deep. I still believe he has something in him to give to the world, and he's a World Cup winner. He's a champion. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, so many things, like you've said, have plagued him, and beyond that, it also his fitness, his form, like you mentioned, injuries. He's been plagued with injuries, not had a lot of playing time in Juventus in the last, few months.
Thereabouts.
Yeah, thereabouts. Usually on the bench, up for substitution, and like you mentioned, in this particular game, he wasn't even playing, but he was randomly selected for a post-match test, which again, but his agent has said that she won't say anything until the second testing, but just to let people know that he had no intention to disobey or to break any laws. So let's see how that would come out. But something else with regards to an update is with Rubiales in Spain, where a High Court judge has now opened investigation. Recall that Hermoso had filed a complaint saying that it was not consensual. So let's see how that plays out. If he's found guilty, he could face up to 4 years in jail.
Well, two quick things. Number one, a touch of irony. Djokovic, yes, made history, 24th Grand Slam title. Yeah. But do you know that he won shot of the day in the match against Daniel
Medvedev.
And that shot of the day prize was sponsored by Modena. The same Djokovic, that was not allowed to play at the US Open last year because he was not vaccinated. Now getting, a prize from Modena, makers of vaccines. Now, as for Nigerian Professional Football League, now Nigeria Premier League.
Premier Football League.
Football League, yes. NPFL, well, a rose by any other name would just smell as sweet, except that in this particular case, what the metaphor means is that, what does that change? What is the nomenclature? The Football League in Nigeria is badly managed. Now, this year's league has been postponed twice.
Yeah.
First, they said it will happen on August 9. They moved it to September 19. Now, they have postponed it indefinitely. And what is their excuse? exigencies of sponsorship. So I think we need to take this football league in Nigeria a bit more serious, you know, so that Nigerians are not too enthusiastic, like, you know, talking about Arsenal, like some people that I know, or talking about Liverpool or, you know, some other teams, or Chelsea and all of that, so that we'll have people showing more interest in the league at home. They have problems of sponsorship because the standard within the league is very poor. That is a challenge. And do you think that league will happen with implications for players, for clubs, for other people involved?
Because it's also the ripple effect actually has to be the fact that look at, for example, in the national team, we have fewer players in the national team. No thanks to the fact that the league is not even in session. Okay,
well, thank you so much, Aaron. Unfortunately, we have to go now, but I want to say that I do support Eimba and Arsenal. Very important.